guys, different kind of video today. Still racing, but wanted to do a video about Bathurst. Today is the big race, 2020. It's the final round of the V8 Supercars season. I'm really excited and looking forward to it. So I just wanted to do a video today to show you guys what this track means to me. And yeah, so over there we have just a few laps that I did in the USF 2000. More about the memory of the track and how I picture the track and how I actually drive the track. And down below we have a slideshow just of 2010. I just bought this HSV Club Sport, went to a wedding, and instead of flying from Melbourne to Sydney, I decided that Kathy and I were going to just drive up. So this photo is at Jadolin Caves, which is on the way. And for those of you who don't know, Bathurst is almost 3 hours drive from Sydney Airport. They made the circuit in 1938, and well, the first race was done in 1938. It was a dirt track, motorbikes. A couple of days later, the Grand Prix cars had to go on there, but it really became Australian folklore when the touring cars rocked up. In 1960, there was a race called the Armstrong 500, which was done at Phillip Island. It was extremely popular, and it was basically showroom cars. A lot of people turned up, but within 3 years, because of the composite of the asphalt, the Phillip Island circuit it just couldn't handle that many cars, and they needed a new venue. So in 1963, they decided to come to Mount Panorama in Bathurst, and from that point it has become an Australian icon, especially in motorsport, but in sport in general. It's created many heroes. There's been a lot of zeros. It's one of those circuits that you get it wrong. That corner in particular is named Hell Corner, because if you get that corner wrong, it's a long way around. You got to go through hell to get back to the pits. So yeah, when we've got to Bathurst, it's an open road, a tourist road. So when they're not racing, you can actually free entry, drive around the track. People live on the track. There's wineries and everything. So this is the second time I went to Bathurst. The first time I was doing like a road trip in a little bongo van, camping around Australia, and that little bongo van, Toyota Light Ace, went 40 k's up the hill an hour and 140 down it. It's limited to 60 kilometers an hour though, so if you're going to go there, be careful. I grew up in a family obsessed with Australian rules football. Motorsport really wasn't on the radar with my upbringing, although the Bathurst race was always on TV. And as I grew into my late teens, motorsport was growing, but it wasn't as big as what it is to me now. So Bathurst, 161 laps. It's two drivers per car, mandatory 7 pit stops minimum, and you must do a brake change in that time. This year there's 25 cars on track. It's an endurance race. It is extremely difficult, and it's not until you actually go there. These photos really, I tried to get photos depicting the actual elevation changes of the track, and there is zero runoff. There's scratches on the walls. I went there 1 week after that race in that year, and just got photos. That's the cutting. Fantastic height change. We know Bathurst from sim racing. There's been a lot of games that have depicted the circuit. Some haven't been that good, but I think iRacing has absolutely nailed it. So what does it mean to me? There's a picture of one of the houses. So the walls are permanently there. They just take one of the walls out to open the driveway for the residents. What does it mean to me? Well, history. There have been so many heroes born from Bathurst. Peter Brock has won the most Bathursts. He's got 9 wins. Unfortunately, Peter's not with us anymore. We do have Peter Brock Corrigan though. I named my son after Peter Brock. He was my icon, my idol when I was growing up, and found it very fitting to name my first child after him. This is coming after the cutting, going to Borry, and just being at the circuit was amazing. So every year, Bathurst 1000 is the ultimate race. I've always called it the grand final. In Australia, with AFL, the grand final in Australian rules football is a massive day nationwide, but Bathurst Day is also a massive day. It's something that traditionally, for me, I have a barbecue. I invite a lot of people over, and we have the race on the whole time. My invitation always states that you're more than welcome to come, but just be aware, it's about the race. It's about watching everyone just enjoy the circuit. It will bite you, it will bite you hard, and watching professional people go through the motions of trying to get through the 161 laps is it's really impressive to watch. You'll see grown men cry at Bathurst. You'll have a lot of people crying when they're out of the race, but more importantly, you will see the winners of the race that particular year. Just they will just break down. It is so important to everyone in motorsport, and yeah, my traditions of watching every lap of the race has stretched for about 15 years now. Never missed a lap. There's been a couple where I fell asleep because traditionally with the barbecue we have a few beers and we just enjoy the day. And yeah, by lap 120 my eyelids are getting heavy, and I will still persist. It all comes down to that photo is epic. Brock's skyline, that is my epic photo. That particular year, HSV, of which that car is, were sponsoring Brock's skyline. And that particular sign back there is you can sign your name on that sign. It's a tribute to Peter Brock, and if you read it, there's a lot of people just saying thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done for Australian motorsport, Peter. I think they paint over it each year because everyone writes on it. And yeah, this is at the top of Skyline. Look at the elevation changes behind me. It's the top of the mountain. It just drops off. And there's a famous story from Alan Moffat where the first year, he's from, I could be wrong here, Canada? He's got an American accent, so he could be from America. Either way, he first day he rocked up to the circuit, long time ago. There was no walls or anything. They were taking him around, and he got to the top of Skyline here, and they said, he said, look, can we just stop mucking around? I'm here to race. Can you just show me where the circuit is? And standing at the top of Skyline, looking over the hill, they said, Alan, you're on it. And that he said, his famous story is that is the last time he looked over that mountain. When it started in the 60s, there was, and the reason it became so popular, especially with manufacturers putting money in, as Kathy, was they had this thing, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. So it became really important for cars to perform and as an endurance race to finish the race and to win the race. So the theory was if you won Bathurst on Sunday, you're going to sell a hell of a lot of cars on Monday. And they weren't necessarily race cars back then. They were showroom cars. They had standard tyres. They called them cheese cutters, little tyres, little tiny brakes, massive cars like in the 70s, especially the XC coupe, the Monaros. They're all big, heavy cars with little tyres, and it was a very big challenge just to finish the race. But as time goes on, I think it was in the, I'll be wrong, 90s, the V8 Supercars Championship was born. Before that, we had the Australian Touring Car Championship. But yeah, as time goes on, as you see these days, we've got the Holden Commodore and the Ford Mustang. It's very much about Ford versus Holden. Now, when you're born in Australia, you are either a Ford fan or a Holden fan. You're, you're, what's the word? The brand that you will live by is determined by who your father barracks for. So my dad was a Holden fan, therefore I don't have a choice. I'm a Holden fan. Mates of mine, Ford fans, because their dads were Ford fans. Just a little bite mark there. Thanks, Mountain. So yeah, Bathurst is extremely important to me. It's a way of signing the year off. Traditionally, the last I think 10 years, Bathurst has been sort of like the fourth last race of the year, but I still call it the grand final. It's an epic circuit, and it's very much within its place to be the last track of the year. And yeah, that's the sweeper coming into Castrol Chase. Castrol Chase is not necessarily... I grabbed some of that rubber, by the way. I still got it. I had it in the console of my Club Sport until the day I sold it as a good luck charm. But the circuit actually used to run straight. You've got the hotel in the background there, just to the left of the hotel. But as cars got faster, they had to implement Castrol Chase, because coming to the last corner of Bathurst, Murray's Corner, they were coming up way too fast. Cars got stupid fast, and then yeah, so they made a little stopping point. The chase is one of the hardest parts of the circuit. You'll see just on the left there, we've gone through the dippers, which is a bit like a double corkscrew from Laguna Seca. And yeah, so my day here at Bathurst, I'll never forget it. I haven't actually been to a race at Bathurst. It used to be known as a bit of a bogan race. Like, you'd have 20 or 30,000 people camping up on top of the mountain, and once the sun went down, a lot of bad stuff happened. Like, people would light toilet rolls on fire and just throw them at random places. Cars used to burn, and fireworks, and just people getting extremely drunk. Basically, they had to introduce a rule where you couldn't have more than one slab of beer per day. So that was the rule: one slab per person per day. And when you're staying up there for a week, you can imagine ingesting 7 slabs of beer. Yeah, you're not going to be yourself, that's for sure. So yeah, this is on the start-finish line. Kathy was very patient that day. Not as interested in motorsport as I am. He spent half the time sitting in the car, chatting to her mum on the phone, to be honest, as I parked on every corner. But yeah, it's an epic circuit. A lot of you might know the track from the Bathurst 12-hour, which happens at the start of each year. The last 5 years, it's become very much a place that all international drivers want to experience the mountain. They're in the GT3 cars, which are a lot faster, but V8 supercars are still based on, kind of based on the road cars. A little bit NASCAR style now, where you've got controlled chassis and everything, and they just put some panels on. But the Ford and Holden rivalry will live on. Holden has pulled the pin. Holden no longer exists anymore, and as of the end of next year, Holden will, I think they're going to call them Chevys. We're going to have the Chevy Camaro versus the Mustang, and yeah, the legend of Holden versus Ford will live on. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, guys. Tell me what you think about Bathurst, what it means to you, and Yeah, I'd love to hear. I've also got my Discord channel. I'll set a page up on my Discord channel. I'll put a link down below in the description. And yeah, I'll just call it Bathurst. And just, yeah, if you want to put photos up there and join the community and just let us know what Bathurst means to you. It could just be a track on a computer game. But for me, it's a lot more. It's probably what slows me down. You're going through each corner, up the hill, over the hill, down the hill, and all of the memories come through of all of the epic races that you've seen over the years, the legends that have come from Thirst. You've got Peter Brock, Alan Moffat, Dick Johnson, Mark Scaife, Greg Murphy with the Lap of the Gods, Craig Lowndes, the year that Brocky died, just shortly after was that Bathurst, and Craig Lowndes was his apprentice. Peter Brock taught him everything he knew, and that particular year when Craig won, and he was actually crying as he went over the line. He couldn't believe that he had won what was now called the Peter Brock Trophy, and you've Chaz Mostert, you've got 2018 Dave Reynolds, where he got in pole, and on a Saturday he was thrust into the media, and he just did media after media and exhausted himself before the race. And when it come 3/4 of the way through the race, his body basically gave up. His legs went numb, and he couldn't concentrate at all. But muscle memory kicked in, and he was only losing about 2 or 3 tenths of a second to Craig Lowndes, and his speed was still right up there. Epic moments, there's so many of them, and it's something that I'm proud to look forward to. I love Bathurst, and it's one of the main reasons why I have my simulator, why I race every day, because the passion from the Bathurst circuit has actually it seeds and it feeds my passion for motorsport in general. So thanks for watching, guys. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, down if you didn't. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on track soon. See you later. Bye.